Hi everyone, welcome to the second video in our Taste Like a Chef video series. In this video, we're going to explore creating a healthy eating environment at home in hopes that it will help you introduce more foods to your children as they grow. So first and foremost, when creating a healthy eating environment at home, it is very established that creating routine around mealtime is very important. That means as much as possible, if you can be sitting down as a family unit to eat with your children, that is very, very helpful. It helps to establish routine and consistency and create a safe place for your children to both try and fail at trying new foods. So before we get started, I think it's helpful to go through some do's and some don'ts when approaching mealtime. First of all, some of the do's. It's very helpful to limit snacks before it's time to sit down at mealtime. I know this can be hard because quite often when we're preparing meals, our kids are complaining that they're hungry. But if they've been snacking within an hour of the time you're sitting down to eat dinner, they're probably not going to be hungry. And remember, the instinct of hunger is what's going to help you in introducing new foods to them and making sure that they're open to trying something new. Secondly, is always consider what the meal looks like from your child's perspective. If you're preparing something that they're familiar with, but you used a slightly different ingredient, maybe red cabbage instead of green cabbage, maybe yellow peppers instead of red peppers, maybe your sauce is thicker or more runny than it usually is. Anything that's different from what your child's expectation of what that meal is going to be can really help inhibit their ability to approach trying something positively. And quite often, when you think about it, this explains why so many times our children will just randomly one day not eat what is ordinarily their favorite thing. If you think about it from their perspective, there's probably something inconsistent about the way that it's been presented that day. Third is lead by example. If you're not willing to eat the foods that you're asking your children to try, it's not very fair of us to ask them to try it. So you have to be willing to take the first bite and again, lead by example. And last, be patient and go slow. Don't try and introduce too many new foods at one time. It is very helpful for children to introduce one new food alongside a couple of foods that they are familiar with and comfortable with. The idea of having a safe place to then add on one thing that's a little bit risky is a lot easier for children than just diving headfirst into something that they don't know what it's going to be like. And now for some don'ts. Don't have screens playing or technology going while you're sitting at the dinner table. Sitting at the dinner table should be a distraction-free time where you can talk to each other. It's also going to be the easiest way to try and use some of those strategies that we talked about in the first video. Number two, don't open a restaurant. That's not your job as a parent. What you serve for dinner should be what you serve for dinner. Your children are very smart, and if they will understand very quickly that all they have to do to get their favorite thing is just refuse to eat what you've prepared for dinner, and don't give them that opportunity. So it may take your children a couple of times to get used to the fact that they can't just refuse to participate to get what they want. They will learn very quickly. Hunger is a fantastic tool to use to your advantage. Next is don't bribe your kids with food. It is fine to reward your children when they try something new, and rewarding that good behavior is fine, but try not to use food as the reward. As particularly with dessert type foods or easy foods that your kids happen to like, using those as rewards for good behavior can lead to long-term food behavior issues that you'll have to deal with later on. So if you can come up with a different way to reward your children's good behavior when they try something new, like spending more time with them, or just any non-food related reward, that would be our recommendation. And last, try not to get frustrated, even when you're frustrated. Trying new foods with your children is frustrating, but if you show that frustration for them, it makes it difficult for your children to try new foods and maybe not succeed at them. You don't want them to feel like they failed you, and if you're frustrated, that can be what it is. So you even want the effort of trying new foods, even when it didn't go as well as you hoped, to be a positive experience for them. This is going to take practice for your children, and they're likely going to have to try and potentially fail many times over again before they get the hang of it, and that's okay. So just try and be positive and have fun, and now we can talk about how to present foods to children in a way that will hopefully be more easy for them to try those new foods. So now when we're all sitting around the dinner table, one of the biggest strategies that we find can really help children with trying new foods is letting them be the boss of their plate. What I mean by that is allowing your children to select what food is going to be on their plate, how much of each different dish, and where they sit on their plate can make a big difference between whether or not they'll be willing to try it or not. Quite often in my household, when my children would go to school and they would be structured in their time from the moment they wake up to the moment they get home from school, where they're always on someone else's schedule, they're always being told what to do and where to go next. The first time that they felt that they had any type of control in their lives was when they sat down at the dinner table. And if we just put a plate down with food on it in front of them, the first opportunity in their day for them to exercise that control would be to say, I'm not going to participate in this, I don't want to try it. But if you can give your children opportunities to make good choices by choosing what food goes on their plate, it may help them approach trying those foods more positively. So the way that I would approach that is figuring out how to deconstruct your meal so that you can present them different choices. For example, let's say for dinner we were having rice and chicken and carrots and broccoli. Those are our 4 dishes that I'm serving on the table today. I would tell my children that they can pick any 3 of those 4 foods. They can pick 4 if they like, but they have to pick 3 and put them on their plate. They can choose to take as much or as little of each of those 3 things that they're choosing, and they can put it anywhere that they like on their plate. If they want it on top of each other or not touching each other, that is up to them. Of course, you need to help them make sure that they do it respectfully, that they're not silly and taking a silly amount of food, or they have to have enough that they can have a few tries, but they get to choose where it goes on the plate and which choices they're making. In my example of what's for dinner, any 3 items that they choose, rice, chicken, carrots, broccoli, is a great choice for dinner. If they want to have rice and broccoli and carrots, that's a fantastic dinner for them. If they want to have carrots and broccoli and chicken, that's a fantastic choice as well. And you can do this with most dishes. Even if you're having something like pasta, you could put the noodles on the table separate from the sauce, separate from the salad you're having on the side, so that they can put it together in a way that they want. So you're just going to think about how to present your meal in a way that gives them the opportunity or the illusion of making a choice that is their choice, so that they can feel like they're the boss of their plate. So in conclusion, the most important thing that you can do as a parent in creating a healthy eating environment for your children around the dinner table is being positive. I hope you found some of these strategies helpful. You can keep watching the next video in the series, as Chef Catherine is going to help describe how to put some of these theories into action, especially as you're cooking with your children. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.